So I can only imagine that something so significant, would definitely be the end of her life.
Millions of dollars are going to be spent on an ill-fated plan that's going to kill Lolita.
There's an effort moving forward to bring Tokitae back home to the Northwest. She was taken in 1970 and is the last surviving orca captured from Puget Sound.
For more than 50 years, she's been performing for crowds at the Miami Seaquarium under the stage name Lolita. Whale advocates say it's time to bring her back to Washington and let her live in a protected sea pen near the San Juan Islands. But not everyone is on board with the plan.
King 5's PJ Randalla is in Miami, where she talked with two of Tokitae's former trainers and a former veterinarian. They say this move will kill her and could even harm our other southern resident orcas.
Support for Toki's release has come from all over the world in recent years, with even celebrities like Cher joining in. But there's a very vocal group of Toki's former trainers and veterinarians who say this is not the right plan.
With great behavior. This is her participating in her own healthcare.
Yeah, I spent 18 years with her. That is 35% of my life, forming, such an incredible love and bond with this animal.
She has slid her entire body out of the water.
She is truly a unique and special animal. I trust her with my child. And introducing my child to her after she was born. My child calls every killer whale Toki now. She loves whales because of Toki.
Animal trainers Marnie Wood and Heather Keenan have each spent more than a decade caring for Tokitae at the Miami Seaquarium. They've since left the industry, but say they had to speak up after hearing about the plan to release Tokitae into a sea pen in the Puget Sound.
I believe it without a doubt. And I know Lolita wants to get to free waters. I don't care what anyone says. She's lived this long to have this opportunity.
I don't think it's based on what's in her best interest. I feel like it is based on what is in people's best interest and what people think is a virtuous moment, for them to feel good, but it's not looking out for this animal and this individual.
We've received death threats.
We aren't here to promote the Miami Seaquarium or the Dolphin Company. We're only here for her best interest.
The day of the news conference when they announced this, I resigned 5 minutes later. Maybe they think they're doing the right thing, but I disagree and I don't want to be involved.
Dr. Michael Renner has been part of Tokitae's veterinary team on and off for the past 30 years.
It's not like we're against releasing marine mammals or sea pens. I'm all for them, but there are candidates that make sense. Time in captivity is number one, or time in human care. 50 years is unprecedented. It's just, she's not a good candidate. Simple as that.
Since the announcement Tokitae would be moved, Dr. Renner and others have formed the group Truth for Toki, dedicated to bringing awareness to the risks of what they call an ill-fated plan.
This individual is not a big fan of change. We introduced a new animal into her pool many years ago, a bottlenose dolphin, and Toki had never seen a bottlenose dolphin before, and she was absolutely terrified. You can only imagine this type of change compared to transporting her all the way across the country, dropping her into a sea pen.
The group doesn't believe she can survive transport at her age, and even if she does, they say her release could endanger her own family.
She's been exposed to things here that they haven't been exposed to. That's putting an endangered pod of orcas, wild orcas that are already in trouble, have more risk. So she's a risk to them.
Yet Howard Garrett, co-founder of the Orca Network, says Toki will be assessed for pathogens by a team of veterinarians and federal authorities as a condition of her move.
Nobody, me more than anybody, I think, does not want any harm to come to southern resident orcas. So we can't let that happen, but fortunately, there are ways to prevent that.
But how long can Tokitae stay at the Miami Seaquarium? Last year, Miami-Dade County deemed Tokitae's arena, including the smallest orca tank in North America, to be an unsafe structure due to corrosion and disrepair.
We all recognize that the situation she's in isn't great, Could it be better? Of course. And we want to do what's best for her.
Over the years, USDA inspections have found Tokitae's been eating rotten fish and living in a tank filled with algae and chipping paint. Some have wondered, why didn't her trainer speak up about these conditions in the past?
We have no control over the size of her pool. We would love nothing more than for her to have a larger facility and it to be either upgraded now or a new facility built for her.
Or if none of those are an option, moving her to SeaWorld. We know that they currently have the proper infrastructure, they have the experienced staff already in place.
SeaWorld Orlando has not responded to our inquiries about this idea, but Dr. Renner believes Tokitae should stay where she is.
I'd like her to live out the rest of her life in her home, the place she's called home for 50 years, the place she knows best. She's not stressed. She's content in that pool. I know that whale very well. I've known her for 30 years. She wouldn't have lived this long if it was horrible conditions, as people are saying.
Ultimately, the group believes they are Tokitae's family, and she already is home.
That's really all we want, is to be a part of the conversation, figure out what the best plan for Toki is as an individual, not as a symbol for killer whales across the country or the world. She's not a symbol, she is Toki.
She deserves, much more than this plan. She deserves a happy, healthy rest of her life.
While Toki's previous trainers and veterinarians may not support her move, we visited this aquarium and talked to staff. They told us that they do want her to go home. Also, the dolphin company recently put out a statement indicating that her current trainers are helping to prepare her for the journey ahead. In Miami, PJ Randhawa, King 5 News.
So along with trainers, another friend will be coming with Tokitae for the move. The dolphin she's currently in the tank with. The Miami Seaquarium says right now she's in a tank with a Pacific white-sided dolphin named Li'i. King 5 has learned the plan is to move that dolphin with Tokitae to her new sea pen. Charles Vinnick with Friends of Toki, the group coordinating the move, says orcas are social animals and keeping them together will be better for her health.
Everything we know scientifically about orca are that they are very social. If you look at it scientifically, their brains are more convoluted in the areas of communication and emotion than the human brain. So we've seen evidence, certainly here with the southern residents, of their connection to one another, their connection to family. So having her with a companion, even if it's a dolphin companion she knows well, is certainly something that is ideal. So that is an objective.
Tokitae has not lived with another orca since 1980. When she arrived at the Miami Seaquarium in September of 1970, she was put into a tank with Hugo, another orca captured near Puget Sound. This is some video of the two of them performing together in the 1970s. They lived in what was called the Whale Bowl, an 80 by 35-foot tank. Hugo died in 1980 from a brain aneurysm after repeatedly banging his head against the tank wall. Since then, Tokitae has either lived alone or with dolphins.
Tomorrow night on King 5 News at 6:30, we are back in Nova Scotia looking at the differences between marine mammals living in a tank versus the ocean. We talk with a marine neuroscientist who says it's not just a sentimental issue, it's one of science.
When these animals are forced to grow up in an impoverished environment like a marine park, that there is damage to their brain.
That's tomorrow night at 6:30 on King 5. For all our coverage this week, text the word Toki to 206-448-4545 and we'll send you a link.
And 1 week from tonight, we are in Miami and Nova Scotia taking an in-depth look at the plan and how they'll keep Tokitae protected once she's home. You can watch Tokitae's Journey, the hour-long special on King 5 News from 7 to 8 p.m. You can also watch it on King 5 Plus, which you can download on Roku or Amazon Fire.
All right, sorry, I'm just going to unmute us. Thanks for joining us. For that, we wanted to be able to watch that together and just have a little discussion, if you will. We knew what was coming on tonight and, just really sharing some compassion for people to be able to yeah, I'm struggling with it. For people to be able to voice their opinions and on this their views, and just knowing that they are coming from a place of love, and they do love her, and so whatever they're speaking, we know that they're doing it because that's what they know, right? And that's what they believe, and they get to do that. They get to have their beliefs and share that. Couple things they said though, I do want to just talk about, about her reaction to a bottlenose dolphin being put in her tank, and that she was frightened. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but as we know and have had many people on the show talk about all the different animals that have been with her. She's had Risso's dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, other Pacific white-sided dolphins, pilot whales, and the Pacific white-sided dolphins. I don't know if I already said that, Lee and others. So she has experienced a lot of change and has done well. She's resilient, you guys. She's, maybe it was hard for her. I don't know. I wasn't there. They said they were. Maybe some of these introducing these new animals might have been rough for her, but she's overcome all of it. She's healthier than she's been. She looks fabulous, as we all saw on the Local 10 thing. They also talked about, they want her there in her home. One of, I think it was Dr. Renner, doesn't even want her moved anywhere else. He wants her to stay there. That's not her home.
Nope.
No.
It's not her home.
No.
It might be where she's been for 52 years, 52 and a half years, not by her choice, not because her family moved there, by force. That's not her home.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to see it that. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then also about being her family, I appreciate every single person who's been with her in the last 52 and a half years, every single person who's provided care, who's given her love, who's had compassion, who's been able to share those interactions with her, companionship. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you, every single trainer. But she has a family.
Yeah.
And she has a home.
At her home.
Yeah.
That she was from. And so, they want to be part of the conversation, and, maybe they'll be allowed to be part of the conversation of her going home. But that is the plan in place. That is the plan that we're supporting. That's the plan that's being moved forward. Of course, options are going to be looked at. You guys, she can't stay there forever. That place is, so I'm sure options are being looked at. But the main plan in place that everyone is supporting, that funding has got behind, is to take her home to the Sailor Sea. So while we might hear other opinions and other hopes and other wants and other fears, and I know I'm going I'm going to just bless those. I'm going to put them through a filter of love and compassion and grace, because that's what she deserves. So any conversations about her, if you guys don't join us on Thursdays, we do this every Thursday, but anyone who thinks of her, anyone who talks about her, anyone who is in a conversation about her, who gets to see her, any of that, we just bless you and give you so much love, and positive energy, because that is what she needs. So I know there's some really freaky old reports about the previous owners. There might be some, I'm not sure I'm not paying attention to that. What I'm paying attention to right now is her and her plan moving forward. There has been some awful things in her past, and she has been so resilient and so strong for a reason. She knows she's going home, you guys, and we need to keep knowing that with her. I'll shut up now. Alejandro?
It's funny because I have heard the same message from these people for so long, calling that tank her home. It's not her home. She was stolen in 1970. She was stolen in 1970 from her real home, her home waters. She was swimming with her mother. Now these people I respect their opinions. Now these people come to this process, what they have done in the past when she got sick. We never hear anything, any word from these people. And now they support the idea to keep her in a tank. That's crazy. I can't believe. And I see the trainer who get pregnant make Toki kiss her valid. Listen, you guys need to understand. Her family is a family, orca family. We are not her family. We love her so much. And Toki has her own family, Ocean Sam, her pod, We are not her family. This is what these people need to understand. I know about the business. They keep promoting the same idea all the time. Even Robert Rose, the previous curator, used to repeat the same. This is her home. No, it's not her home. They call Lolita, she's an ambassador. No, she's not an ambassador. She's an ambassador of your business. This is the truth. She is an ambassador of your business. Because if you really love her, let her go. You are not her family. You are not her family. Her family is in Washington State. Her real family is the Lomi Nation, who respect the orcas. And they love the orcas as family. Her real family are Ocean Sun and the rest of family members, Southern Residence Orcas. That's it. So stop the idea of keep promoting that tank, ugly tank, at her home. It's not her home. I don't need to study at school or be a scientist to realize that that's a big lie. Her tank is not that tank, because not her. Yeah, that tank is not her home. Her real home is her home waters in the Salton Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Repeat over and over like a record disc. Her home is a tank. No, it's here. She's an ambassador. Robert Rowe used to repeat the same like a broken record. Repeat the same, and they don't move from there. Because I know they promote this business. They are pro captivity because they know they get scared. Maybe this business is going to collapse after she gets released. Because we understand that, but they need to understand this. She has not the symbol dollar. She has family. This is what these people need to understand.
Yeah. It's interesting, the conversation also about the pathogens, and and I'm glad they put that clip of Howard in there talking about how she will be tested for all of that. But then Rita said somewhere in there, they say she can't go home because she'll bring pathogens, but if she's moved to SeaWorld, the pathogens would just vanish. I mean, it is faulty logic. She would have to be tested for everything, no matter where she goes. Why not home? Why not?
Exactly.
You know what I kept hearing? And I'm with you, Annette. They really, really do love her, but it's a self-righteous, selfish kind of love.
Yes.
And there's a cognitive disconnect going on, like Rita said. Okay, she has pathogens, so let's go infect the other orca types in SeaWorld. Oh, she's afraid of the bottlenose dolphin, but you want to put her in SeaWorld with other orcas from other ecotypes that she doesn't know. And then the one that really got me was Alejandra, like you said, with her pregnant belly. And there isn't a magic with these cetaceans in pregnant women. And it is beautiful and magical. But they exposed, and I'm just going to say it, brainwashing right then and there. Yes. When she says, my daughter was born and my daughter met Toki and loves Toki. And now every whale is Toki. And that's the part to me that's like, okay, that's the exact thing that caused a big part of this whole problem. Is not every orca is Toki. Every one of these orcas is an individual, and they have a personality, and they all have different families. And when you create that, oh, every orca is Toki, you're creating that disconnect with children after generation after generation. Every orca with SeaWorld was Shamu.
Yep.
And Shamu died before he ever got to SeaWorld.
That's right.
So that's the part that it was a little bit like, Yes, you love her.
It's
And
hard.
yes, you're selfish, but
It's hard.
not every orca is Toki. That's so
I just
random.
want to say this. It's hard to hear the other side, just as I'm sure it's hard for them to hear from us.
Yes.
So I give them compassion. I do.
Yep.
Really do. I give them love. I think Dr. Renner said he, resigned 5 minutes after the press conference, but he was there. He's known her for 30 years. You know what? Dr. Renner, thank you for caring for her for so many years. And thank you for loving her, because we know that, and Howard has said this before. Actually, Ken Belcom said it before in that interview where they're there outside his house, and he's saying there's no doubt she's been given good care. There's no doubt that she's been given good care. So thank you guys for doing that. It is hard to hear. I mean, we obviously are on opposite sides of the coin here and seeing something different for her future. But I do believe it's coming from a place of love and their beliefs. And I just want to honor that, because that is what we do. Any conversation, any energy that we put out affects her as well. So let's transmute that with love. Let's transmute that with compassion. You need to go hit your punching bag after. You could do that too to release some energy, but really,
what is the name of the doctor? I'm gonna put his name on the back to punch it.
they do love her, you guys, and
They do love her. It's
we
just
have to remember that. And there's a lot of people listening right now, and I want everyone who's hearing that message that was delivered by them and our message to know that the energy you put out affects her. So stay focused, stay loving, stay centered, literally stay focused and stay strong. Because
and remember, she is really strong.
Very
Speaking of strong,
So much
is
stronger
strong. She is resilient. She has gone through so many things,
Yes.
and
She
that's
survived.
why, because she's ready to come home, just like Jim Irsay said on that clip. She is ready to come home. She's strong. She's doing great, and I just want everyone to know that Toki is like strong.
Yes.
Strong. One Toki. There's only one Toki. Yes, only Toki. Just Toki. No.
She's unique. She's unique and the only one. Nobody can explain how she survives 56. Many orcas die at SeaWorld.
Well,
20 years old, 30, 16 years old. But
that
Lolita
pool is so small, you guys. It would be like if they put one of us in an 8x8 cell and we could never go anywhere else.
Yeah.
52 years. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. That is not a home,
No, it's not. It's not home. I mean, we know it's not home. And while they have been her family, everyone who's worked with her for many years has been, I'm going to call them a surrogate family. But if someone is taken as a child and raised somewhere far away, that doesn't make them your family. No. It may be a caregiver if you're lucky to be in a situation where you're loved, but it's not your family, and
it's not her culture.
And there's been a bunch of different ones.
There's never been anything, and never one person that was consistent throughout that whole 50 years.
Well, and that shows her resilience. So if we can leave you guys with anything, let's leave you with that. Her strength, her compassion, her love, her resilience. She's an amazing, magnificent being. And we know she's going home, and she knows she's going home. And again, like you said it, Deborah, it really is, she's Skelly Chucktanut. That is who she is. She is not every orca in captivity, and she is not every other southern resident. She is Skelly Chucktanut. And thank you for pointing that out, Deborah. They have an idea of a whale, and then they see them all as that whale. No, she is unique. She's magnificent. She's coming home, and we get to be part of this, you guys. So just be grateful, stay focused. And let's go ahead and close with the song "Look at Me" by Shirley Bob, because we really need to stay focused on who she is. Any final words, Alejandro?
No,
I'm about to close with the song, but so end on a positive.
no. I remember one of the last interview we have a few months ago when Tokitae was almost, her health was bad, and you remember we got the interview with Pritam Singh, and he said, I don't know what happened, but she's not doing well. You know, everybody gets scared. Maybe she's gonna die. And see where we at now. Almost getting home. So this I can see this as a miracle. You know, ancestors are taking care of her. Ancestors are guiding her, clearing her path to go home, and she knows that. She knows that ancestors are with her right now in the tank, taking care of her.
They are.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna say. I don't wanna see any next. If not, you know me. You know me.
We know.
Thank you. And everybody, really, truly, thank you for loving her, whether you're on the screen, whether you're from her past, whatever your view is, just thank you for loving her. Good night, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night.